live.
Good evening, everyone. It's that time again. It's Hump Day, and you know what? You know what day Hump Day is. Hump Day is the day where the man, the myth, the legend, the Pathfinder on the road to Ruta, the Baron of Bitcoin himself, the Sultan of Silver, the Gandalf of Gold, the man who wears his heart on his sleeve and spaghetti stains on his tie, the man, the myth, the legend, the enigma himself, Bix Weir. What's up, Bix?
Well, you did say good evening, and it's like 10 in the morning here.
Oh, snap. Sorry about that. Good afternoon and good morning, evening, wherever the hell in the world you are.
Just stick to the Robin Williams. Good morning, Vietnam.
I'm just going to start saying Vietnam. I'm going to have maybe I'll build a whole base of Vietnamese subscribers. That'll be great.
We'll know what you're talking about. No worries.
Hey, man. I like
pho. I was up all freaking last night as the river in the sky.
What is up with that river in the sky, Bix? Like, what's going on there? You guys are, I think God is judging you guys, and he's about to flood California now.
You can laugh about that all you want, but the reality is most likely that's exactly what's happening. There was so much rain last night, and I don't know if you're keeping up with the Orville Dam situation. And
yeah, like, what's the latest on that?
Oh, my God. Well, what they're doing now is about all the reservoirs above Orville Dam, Orville Lake are full. That's how they got the lake down. I think it was 60 feet. They got it. It's a 900 foot. The spillway is 900 feet, so it can go up to 901 feet before it starts spilling over. So they lowered it by stopping the outflow of all the upstream dams. I think there's like 9 that feed into the Orville Dam.
Wow.
Orville Lake or whatever it is. And so they got it, the lake level down 60 feet to 840 feet. Now, this is all basically due to a spillway eroding and breaking basically infrastructure that's built for decades that was never fixed because all the money in California went to the homeless and the immigrants and things like that. That's a different fight. But and it was, if you look at pictures of the spillway, it is halfway through it, it's just completely destroyed. And so they evacuated like 180,000 people, town of Oroville and like 5 towns right below the dam, because they thought, oh my God, this hill is eroding and it's going to take down the whole dam, and the whole lake is going to, and it's a gigantic lake, it's going to just flood everything downstream. But so they lowered the dam after the last rain, and they saw the destruction was just brutal. They've been working on it for weeks, trying to get it ready for this next storm, which is basically upon us right now. And the key, though, is the dam was filling up because the snow was melting because it was hot. So it was back up to 865 feet, I think. So they decided to reopen the broken spillway like 4 or 5 days ago, and which obviously continues the erosion. And they just spent billions of dollars to clear out what was at the bottom of the lake, what had eroded. So they basically opened up the spillway again to lower the lake level to get ready for this next storm, which is happening right now. So basically what's happening is they're continuing to erode the side of the hill, even though they've evacuated people because the side of the hill was eroding. So yes, that's what we're dealing with. But it's not just this one place. That's a big problem if the Orville Dam goes. Obviously, it's a huge power plant too, that is part of this dam complex. This dam complex.
Damn, this is a damn issue right here. You guys got going on.
But if you look at California, it used to be a lake. The Central Valley of California used to be a lake. That's why it's so fertile, and that's why it is completely overbuilt with farms and houses, and I think it's 90% of the fruits, vegetables, and nuts that America consumes is grown in the Central Valley of California.
So if you guys go down, so all these things are, I was hoping and praying that California will break away and float out into the middle of the Pacific, which I don't want you there. You're one of my friends. I don't want you there. I want all my friends and loved ones to leave before that happens. But you're saying that if you guys were to break away, that we'd starve to death?
Well, you won't be able to eat fruits, nuts, and vegetables.
That sucks.
So, well,
I like strawberries.
Or it would be massively more costly Shipping plays a great deal in this, but with the end of globalization, which is coming also, you're not going to be able to import anything. So yeah, we are approaching the point of no return. Basically, right now in California, the water situation is every single dam and levee. It's a huge levee system throughout Sacramento area and the Delta area. Basically, they're trying to control Mother Nature with these levees and aqueducts and things like that to get water where they want it at the time they want it. Mm-hmm. And we all know what happens when you mess with Mother Nature. Mother Nature ultimately wins, and all the dams and levees and aqueducts, everything's on the brink of overflowing right now. And now we have this gigantic storm coming through again, as Cliff High had predicted.
Yeah, he did say that the last time that all three of us were on. He predicted that.
Well, he's been saying rivers in the sky for about 10 years. Oh. That's what his data kept kicking out. He's like, what in the world is a river in the sky? And then now it's like, you turn on the news, well, there's a river in the sky developing off of California.
Good grief.
Yeah. And I mean, that river was dumping on my house I could not sleep. It was so loud. So I'm working off very little sleep right now, but I was able to, wake up early and get I have a new morning talk show that I do on YouTube now called The Horn of Z's.
The Horn of Z's.
Ruda's Horn of Z's is my new daily talk show about the things related to the economy and Road to Ruda.
Nice.
And Horn of Z's is actually a term in a language called Bootling. Bootling was a language invented by these people who worked in the fields up in Northern California, in a place called Boonville, California. It's kind of on the way to Mendocino in the Northern California mountains near Cloverdale. But so they worked in the fields and they wanted to talk amongst themselves because their children were working with them. So they invented a language so their children wouldn't understand what they were saying. And a horn of Z's actually means a cup of coffee.
A horn of Z's.
So I sit there with my cup of coffee in the mornings and talk about, I usually just go down Zero Hedge and talk about how this stuff relates to the Road to Ruta theory. It's kind of fun. I just did my third session this morning, but
what
I did.
Time
so I was exhausted.
Eastern and Pacific are you doing the show? We let our viewers know.
I don't do it live yet.
Oh, okay. So it's pre-recorded.
Yeah, I post it usually before 9 o'clock. Usually, I've done 3 times before 9 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time. So you guys, it's like your lunch. I got to figure out what the word is for.
So while I eat my banana sandwich, and I will watch the Horn of Z's while I have my Horn of Z's with me.
Exactly. I want to get coffee mugs made. It's a Horn of Z's. roadtoruta.com.
Leave it to you coming up with these catchy names.
Well, yeah. The Road to Ruta. I didn't come up with the Road to Ruta. Why does everybody keep saying I came up
not the Road to Ruta. I'm talking about the Horn of Z's.
Oh, Horn of Z's, yeah.
The Horn of Z's.
What am I gonna do? The morning chat talk. What's yours? Mornings with V. Right?
Yeah, and now it's being rebranded to. CJ, what are we rebranding it to? It's like Rogue Money Mornings. CJ's on mute.
Come on, you got to get.
CJ's always on mute. CJ,
mornings with V and CJ. We get
all right. So it's still mornings with V and CJ. We haven't rebranded that yet. Okay, good.
I hear
there you go.
And so I copyrighted a Horn of Z's, so don't use it.
You should. I'd buy a mug from you.
I can't copyright it because I didn't. It's a term in Bootling.
But dude, just make the mugs. If you make I will buy.
I will make the mugs, and I like big mugs.
Make it gold. Make like a golden mug or a silver mug.
Silver mug. There you go.
Yeah, silver mug with a Bitcoin symbol on it.
A Bitcoin colored mug.
Boom! There you go.
Boom. So anyway, that's the morning talk show. Also, this California thing is not ending. Apparently, there's a huge storm coming tomorrow. And I haven't checked.
Getting hammered. Like you had like 10 years of drought. Yeah. And now it's never-ending rain.
Well, I think HARP was doing that drought thing, and now that Trump's in, that's shutting down the HARP, and the weather has to kind of sort itself out. Do you ever see that movie The Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where had how the weather systems had to equilibrate, and basically New York.
Did you see the sequel to that movie?
I didn't see. Was there a sequel?
Yeah, it was called The Day After Yesterday.
Are you pulling my leg, or are you?
I'm joking, but
I have no
Day
idea.
After Tomorrow. That was based on that Art Bell Whitley Strieber book that was written. It was heavily influenced by that.
Yeah. I like Whitley Strieber.
I like Whitley Strieber too.
I read Communion and a lot of his stuff because I'm into aliens. I think that's the coolest thing ever. If especially from the ones I see in the sky. Did I tell you I put a one of the videos I took of a thing moving around in the sky on YouTube?
No, you didn't tell me this.
Yeah, go to roadtoruta.com YouTube channel, and I think it was like a week ago I put up it's short, but it shows something moving around in the sky, and you're like, oh my God, what is that?
Huh.
So it's not a real exciting one. I'm hoping to get one of the good like triangle spacecraft on recorded through my goggles. But when I record through the goggles, the way I have to do it is just to use my iPhone and make a movie with the lens right there on the lens of the goggles. So it doesn't turn out great quality.
Got it.
Maybe you can see something moving up there.
There's a lot of interesting anomalies, man. Maybe, I mean, again, have you noticed an increase of this with all the increase of rain? You know, with all the rain that's coming down, have you seen an increase of sightings, so to speak?
Well, here's the problem, at least with my goggles, is I can't see anything when it's raining.
That's true.
So my answer is no, V, I haven't.
Oh, that sucks. So,
but
yes.
There are definitely some nights where there's just so much going on up there, and then most nights I'll go out and see almost nothing.
Huh. Yeah. Well, the reason why I ask is, with all this, so you think HARP has stopped and they're just letting the
weather
normalized?
No, I do think the good guys are in charge now, though. So I don't think HARP is purposefully trying to destroy anybody at the moment. They've had the ability. The U.S. government have had the ability to control the weather for close to 100 years.
Oh yeah,
and that's a fact. They've even admitted it, and it's one of those things. Like when Hank Paulson went into Congress and said, give it $700 billion or the economy will destroy. They did an interview with him. He said, we will do anything possible to maintain the safety and security of our markets. Well, that means they're going to rig it. Anything possible means you've got a computer in the basement of the Treasury. You're going to use it every single day. So, yeah, they've had the ability to control the weather for 100 years, and do they use it every single day? No. Did the bad guys use it to create Katrina and Rita? Probably. Mm-hmm. And then they blew the levees, supposedly, for the conspiracy guys out there. So yeah, I think, but I do think the good guys are back in charge. Not back in charge. I mean, they have been in charge for like over 50 years. So the good guys are in charge now, and they're Trump's kicking out the people who are embedded.
Yeah. Did you hear about the Dr. Phil interview that he had with this girl who escaped from Pedo Island?
No, but there's a ton of stuff. Sean at SGT Report is just doing an amazing job over there.
Sean is killing it, bro. He is the man.
Yeah. When it comes to this all coming out, though.
Dude. It really is, man.
It should have come out, decades ago.
Yeah.
But the bad guys were in control. But now the good guys are in control. I'm a little pissed that it's taken so long.
Yeah, me too.
I do think they've saved a lot of the kids. Over 1,500 people have been arrested.
Yeah.
Lower level people.
I heard the numbers right now is over 2,000 people have been arrested.
I have no doubt. And there was a congressman, actually, a state senator. Where is it? Arkansas or something like that?
Oh my God.
No worries.
It was Nebraska, I think it was. Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was in Nebraska near Boys Town, that's huge.
Wouldn't surprise me, and isn't that where Warren Buffett happens to be as well? Warren
Yeah,
Buffett.
I don't think he's in.
No, I don't think he is. He's a
He hates Wall Street, and he hates. Although his father, was Howard Buffett, biggest gold bug in Congress.
Yeah.
And I have long said that Buffett is secretly working for the good guys. And I believe at some point Buffett will announce that he's buying a couple billion ounces of silver, or trying to get his hands on, because that's how much trades every couple days on the LBMA. And he almost did it in 1999 when he bought that silver, but the government went in and shut him down. So yeah, I do think Buffett is working with the good guys to destroy the system at the right time.
Got it. Mr. Buffet.
So I always think of Jimmy Buffett when I hear Warren Buffett.
So do I. I always think of Jimmy Buffett as well. Oh man. So, dude, where do we begin, man? We talked about the rivers in the sky. You're being deluged. I recommend you build an ark. You can use your solar powered scooter to turn the motor on that.
I do have an inflatable canoe that my wife always cracks up, because like when we'll go on vacation, there's water nearby. I'll bring my inflatable canoe.
You're like the gadget man, bro. I envy you. You got like night vision goggles, inflatable canoes. You have a solar powered scooter, dude.
It's not solar powered; it's electric.
I'm sorry, electric, but you solarly charge it. You have like a solar powered generator that charges it.
Yes.
You're amazing. You're like MacGyver.
So I bring my inflatable canoe. It's pretty big. With the paddles and all that, and the life vest. Always thinking, how fun would it be? I brought it on like 10 vacations that we've taken, and I've never opened it. I never get around to opening it and pumping it up and going through all that stuff.
Well, with the river in the sky, I think you might be using it soon.
But I live in the Oakland Hills, so I'm about 700 feet above sea level.
Wow.
So I'm not worried about flooding, erosion.
Yeah.
My house isn't, on the, like some of the houses that are built in the Oakland Hills are basically built on stilts on the side of a mountain. Crazy. I don't know of any that have fallen down, but it's just crazy. And it's right on top of an earthquake fault.
Mm-hmm.
So you got rain and mud and earthquakes, and your house is built on stilts on the side of a mountain. What the hell are you thinking?
Yes, I remember when Hurricane Sandy came through. There were some houses that were built near cliff sides, where half their backyard just disappeared, and the in-ground swimming pool went with it. It's crazy, man.
It's crazy.
Which brings us to Bitcoin, sir. I heard that the fight is over.
I declared this morning. I just did a video I'll be posting this afternoon. I declared the fight is over. Bitcoin Unlimited has won the fight. And it would behoove the core guys just to get on board with Bitcoin Unlimited and make it a non-contentious fork. Non-contentious fork means it won't split into two coins. Because even if it did split into two coins, the utility of the Bitcoin Unlimited solution, it would be much cheaper for transactions, and it would be faster.
It's awesome.
And the Bitcoin Core group, it just takes too long, and Bitcoin Core is trying to secure the store of value aspects of Bitcoin, whereas Bitcoin Unlimited guys are trying to secure the means of exchange attributes.
And at this stage of the game, the most important thing is means of exchange. The more people we have on this, more people are able to exchange with Bitcoin, the better off. You take care of the means of exchange, the store of wealth will take care of itself.
Well, I agree, but especially if we really are coming into a banking crash where your debit card isn't working, your credit card isn't working. If you take away the means of exchange, I mean, it's so short-sighted on the these guys from Bitcoin Core are really brilliant guys, and they were trying to secure the store of value part for the big bankers and the big money people, which is fine. And at some point we'll need to do that, but the way they had constructed to do it, it would have cost $50 to buy in fees to buy a cup of coffee, which is ridiculous because that completely removes the means of exchange aspect, the money aspect of Bitcoin. And luckily, calmer heads prevailed, and a group of guys, I think this was initiated by Satoshi himself,
Mm.
truthfully, because he was definitely in the camp of this should be used as a means of exchange before, a store of value for wealthy people. But Gavin Andreessen, the number 2 guy in Bitcoin, the guy that Satoshi handed it off to, came out, I think, last week and supported Bitcoin Unlimited. But the key is, we live in a free market. We're looking for free market solutions. The miners make money on basically mining for Bitcoin and on fees. So the higher the price of Bitcoin,
Right.
the more they're not going to be concerned about the fees because they're making more money as the higher price of Bitcoin goes. And so right now it's all about growing these huge mining farms in China. And the Chinese government has even slyly come in and cleared the way for Bitcoin Unlimited. Because the miners are the ones running the software, and they're the ones who really make the decision on whether Bitcoin Unlimited will be used or whether the core developers SegWit would be used. And they're clearly signaling that the Bitcoin Unlimited is the fast fix and it will make them the most money. And the SegWit core guys are saying, well, no, that's just concentration of miners have all the power. I would say, no, that's not true because, yes, right now the Chinese miners are the largest power and it will give them more power. But there is no barriers to entry as far as Bitcoin mining. I think the U.S. government will at some point be building gigantic mining farms. So I'm not concerned about the concentration of power in the Chinese miners. Actually, that guy McAfee, guy who started the antivirus software, is building a huge mining farm in Washington State.
Oh wow!
So yeah, right now the concentration of miners I'm not worried about. The Chinese government. The other thing about it is that when this collapse happens, the Chinese government have huge plans for using Bitcoin for their population. And they would not have allowed SegWit to go through because it would have made transactions too costly for everyday people.
Sure, absolutely.
So decisions are being made behind the scenes much higher than these 2 development groups and their spokespeople. This isn't about Roger Ver or Tom Vase or anybody at Bitcoin Core or anybody at Bitcoin Unlimited. These decisions are well beyond that. To Satoshi himself, the CIA, the governments in the U.S. and in China are deciding what's going to happen. And clearly, Bitcoin Unlimited is going to be the winner in this game. And I in my video, I break out what happens if there's a contentious fork, and basically two coins are created. You'll have equal amounts of each, but you'll be able to vote by selling one coin and buying the other. Would you sell something that is costly and hard to implement, although it's safer, versus something that is faster, cheaper, and available for use in an economic collapse of the banks? Bitcoin Unlimited would win by far, and also the people like Roger Ver, who has 300,000 Bitcoins, have already, and Gavin Andreessen. Can't even imagine how
Roger has 300,000 Bitcoin.
Supposedly, yeah. Nobody knows, but they think between 200 and 300,000. And I mean,
holy crud.
Gavin Andreessen, early adopter, I'm sure he's got a few 100,000. And the people that follow them, they'll all be selling the Bitcoin Core SegWit coin, whatever it's called. I don't think it'll be called. Crud. I don't think it'll be called BTC. Because I think a majority of the miners are going to be going with and miners, users, and everything is going to be going with the Bitcoin Unlimited solution because it's cheaper and faster. So yeah, you're going to see selling. You're going to have 2 coins. One's going to sell off massively, and the biggest wallet in the world is owned by Satoshi Nakamoto. He'll have double the coins, 1 in each. Which do you think Satoshi would want? He'll sell all his Bitcoin Core, the things that the side that takes it out of the hands of the people, and he will buy Bitcoin with the proceeds of the 1 million coins he sells of Bitcoin Core solution. So this is kind of like a non-issue in my mind. The game has been decided, and anybody can continue this fight if they want, but the ultimate winner will be what's cheaper and faster and keeps it in the hands of the people. So I'm hoping for a contentious hard fork so that I can get a bunch of that new, whichever side gets the name BTC. It's kind of, I think Bitcoin Unlimited will get BTC because the majority of people will be using that. Just the moniker. I mean, it doesn't matter what you call it, BTC or whatever. It's just how the exchange looks at it and prices it. So, the question of whether it'll be a contentious fork, I don't think it will be contentious because I think the core guys are smart enough to know when they've lost this fight. And it was the reason they lost the fight is they took the utility out of the hands of the people. So I think there'll be 100% consensus to do the hard fork and go on from there.
Yeah, I'm glad this. Here's the thing, guys. The thing is, this contention, this argument was done with individuals. It wasn't done in a closed off, exclusive, banker establishment type thing. This was an argument that was done by the people, and those that are in the forefront and pushing this amazing technology along are the ones that are involved in this whole entire process. I'm excited about that. The fact that we are arguing about which way should Bitcoin go, that's a good thing. That's a great thing.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. I'm excited. I'm happy to hear that, man. I got to go buy more Bitcoin now. I got to catch up to Roger. So when this whole price resets, Roger will be the richest man in the world.
No, I mean Satoshi will be the richest man in the world.
Well, of course, Satoshi probably has like God knows how many Bitcoins.
He has 1 million. The original blocks is right around 1 million coins, and they have not been sold at all. I think Satoshi is. I have my own thoughts. I think I've told you. I think Satoshi is a group that consisted of Alan Greenspan, because he is the world's most premier computer programmer when it comes to financial assets. He invented the electronic financial asset. And when you look at when Bitcoin came into existence in end of 2008, beginning of 2009, Alan Greenspan had been out of office for a year. Everybody's like, what did Alan Greenspan? And then after that, Alan Greenspan came out and said, we need to go back onto a gold standard. Remember that? After he left the Fed for 2 years. So for 2 years, he was working on Bitcoin and I believe he created the Bitcoin white paper. And everybody knows the CIA has been in there since the very beginning. They've had meetings with Andreessen and the very first developers of Bitcoin. And the United States laws are very, very pro Bitcoin. They could have shut it down a long time ago if they wanted to. But no, they see it as along with China, as a great solution to this massive problem of collapsing banking system and taking the bad guys down.
It really is, man. It really is. And taking the bad guys down, it's let's talk about like the healthcare bill. Let's talk about that debacle, man. Well, then we'll go into this whole, you and I are coming to a consensus about this whole entire, this stinking fake economy needs to get killed. We'll get to that towards the end of the show, but let's deal with the healthcare bill.
It was the Obamacare bill and everything associated with it, and what Trump's doing right now. It's all the Obamacare bill was designed to fail. It was designed to implode the monetary system within the healthcare system. It was designed to do that because they really wanted a government-sponsored system 100%, along the lines of socialism, or along the lines of, a lot of countries have government-sponsored healthcare, and that's what they really wanted. They wanted to take the free market out of healthcare, and there's arguments pro and con in both, I think, but definitely. The solution does not fix the problem. The solution being offered is just as bad as Obamacare. It takes the burden. They're talking about tax credits with a government, meaning that the government will give back tax money when the government is insolvent. So and it really doesn't solve a lot of the issues with Obamacare. So yeah, I think it's planned. The plan is to destroy the entire system with the costs of the healthcare, and you lump that with the debt ceiling fight and the Trump budget that is completely unrealistic. So yeah, I think the road to Ruta game goes on. Run the system as long and as hard as you can, soaking up all the benefits from unbacked money, and then crash the system when the debt gets too big.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely, man. It's completely unsustainable. Do you think that they'll be able to pass this bill, get this revisions done, or?
I don't think so. I don't think it matters, but I think I don't think Trump wants it to pass because he knows his solution is not a solution either. So
No, of course.
who does he want to blame? I mean, he's
Yeah.
better off blaming Obamacare than what he constructs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the goal of Congress now is to destroy the monetary system. So yeah, they're not going to pass the debt ceiling stuff, and they're not going to, anything that costs a lot of money, they're going to make sure that goes through, and anything that destroys the system or weakens the system, they're going to say it's ideological differences between the Republicans and Democrats, but in actuality, both solutions destroy the monetary system.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. Now, about the monetary system, man, what's your take? What do you see coming down?
Oh my God, it gets back to Catherine Austin Fitts when she said, she's long been in the camp that the system's going to blow, but who's going to be the person who presses the red button is her analogy. And that really is, I would say it would be more like who is the person to click the mouse in the basement of the U.S. Treasury, because that's where the markets are upheld. So if they do click, actually you don't even need to click a mouse anymore. The bubbles are so big and the pyramid is so wobbly, the upside down pyramid of our economy, that if you just walk away from that computer control, the system crashes on itself and the derivative situation implodes. And we've always known that the derivatives were weapons of mass financial destruction. That is exactly why Alan Greenspan argued for no derivative regulation in the 1990s, so that the banks and the hedge funds would overuse derivatives, and obviously they have. We're in the quadrillions now, but he knew that it's like giving the bankers enough rope to hang themselves, and that's exactly what they did in 2008. And Hank Paulson went to Congress, and Congress bailed them out. The reason Congress bailed out the banks last time is that we were not smart enough as a community, as a nation of citizens, to understand what was going on and how bad this would be. If the bankers come to Congress again for another bailout, this time it won't be $700, $800 billion. It'll be $20, $30 trillion. There will be no bailout. There'll be no bailout. And it's been assured that there's no bailout in the Dodd-Frank bill, because by law, the FDIC has to pay out derivative losses first before they pay out losses in checking account or savings account. So where is the FDIC going to get quadrillions of dollars to pay off derivative losses? They have to go to U.S. Congress, and U.S. Congress is not going to be allowed to approve a bailout of bank derivatives before, a bailout of Ma and Pa Kettle with their $200 in their savings account. So the system is designed to not only fail, but designed to not get a bailout now. And people are smarter, and humanity on both sides of the left and the right wouldn't stand for bailout.
Yeah.
So then we get to the scenario of what happens if there's no bailout. If there's no bailout, then every single electronic asset is gone. The banks are leveraged. They're highly leveraged. Fractional reserve system means that they are creating assets out of thin air, creating money out of thin air, at least 10 to 1. Most, if you count derivatives, it's 100 to 1. For every dollar they have, they create $100 worth of money in derivatives. And so it's great when assets are going up because you get 100 times the return on your assets. when they go down, it doesn't take it far to go down, such that you have to start selling assets on your books. And that's what happened in 2008. And it would have kept going until there was nothing left. And it's the reversal and globalization, the reversal of globalization is starting to happen now with China and the US fighting over, economic things. That's a big, big deal because China makes all our stuff, and China bails out people like Deutsche Bank when they get in a little trouble because they want the system to keep going as well, because they're winning the game as long as it stays intact.
Yeah, until they're ready to pull it, and then it's over.
Yeah. And then what? Well, as far as China, what would happen? Yeah, we would default on a lot of the Chinese debt that they own, but on the flip side is the United States and United States companies own a lot of factories and power plants in China, and China will just say, okay, we'll just call it even. We'll nationalize all your assets within China, and then we'll go forward.
Yeah.
I do think globalization will end, and that is what was written in the Road to Ruta comic books, and that is what Alan Greenspan warned of 4 or 5 years back in an FT article, The End of Globalization, and what it would mean. It would mean the destruction of all assets, electronic assets, but along with the assets go the debt. So yes, it will be a destruction of electronic assets because the banks will crash. It'll be a destruction of electronic debt because the banks will crash as well. They're not going to be able to collect on their, the interest on their debts, even if everybody lost everything in their bank account.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the complication that gets involved, where that's the things we're going to have to deal with. And having Bitcoin as a means of exchange, that's why it's so important. And it's what these core developers didn't understand, is that our system is on the brink of shutting down. And Bitcoin was a solution, an amazingly potential solution for that problem. And it had the core developers gotten what they wanted, it would have made transactions too expensive and too slow. And it would not have been implemented, really, because if the banking collapse happens this year, you're not going to have people still working on Sedgwick implementation. It has to be ready now. Bitcoin has to be ready for use by the population now.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Absolutely, man. Did you see the London terror attack?
Oh, I did this morning. It's just, well, let me just comment really quickly before you even say anything. I briefly saw something, but with all these terror attacks, there's the initial information, and then 4 or 5 days later, we find out, oh, this wasn't the real story. It's either a false flag or something else was going on. So, let me know what's going on right now. Have you heard?
Well, Sadiq Khan, the mayor, just tweeted out there's been a terror attack. We don't know all the details, so on and so forth. But it's also pretty funny that you have Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the prime minister, the president of Turkey, saying that if Europe continues this way, no European in any part of the world can walk safely on the streets. And
well, I think the terror attack was limited to a couple people, right? It was like a knife attack guard.
No, it was a car. They like using cars now.
Well, no, I heard in
probably both
at Parliament. I heard it was both. Somebody got ran over by a car. I don't know if it was associated with a terror attack, but somebody also got a woman police officer who got stabbed. I heard, or something like that, at Parliament. So and I think when we get to the false flag, side of it, I know that today there were meetings in session about the implementing Article 50, the Brexit thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But again, it's like all these terror attacks. You got to wait 4 or 5 days to get the spin from the mainstream, and then get the conspiracy analysis of it all to really get a handle on what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But it's interesting what's happening globally, brother. It's unreal. It's like every second there's all sorts of crap going on everywhere. Well,
didn't Erdogan tell the EU he's going to open his borders and let 2 million immigrants flood into Europe.
Yep, absolutely. Because that's how you show real love and tolerance, and I think Europeans should all become Islamic. I think it's the only way to do it.
I think Europeans should all move to South America, which a lot of the wealthy German citizens are doing now. I hear.
Man, when I was down there, and last I was in the Central South American locale, I was shocked to see how many Italians, how many Canadians, French, Germans, Spaniards, Portuguese people that I was running into, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're stuck in freezing cold Europe, soon to get much colder if you believe Cliff High's Ice Age theories, I think now's a good time to move way south. And if you believe that there's a lot of work down there at the Arctic, which apparently there's all this hiring going on.
I'm going. I've actually applied.
If I was single with no responsibilities, I'd be down at the Antarctic.
I'm moving my entire family. I've also, I've spotted the territory, and I'm going to be building a massive igloo.
Well, from what I hear, it's one side of Antarctica is really warming up and melting all the ice, so it might be a vacation spot for you on the beach. You never know.
Good. So I'll just move my igloo there, and I'll have my solar-powered my jet ski. Not my jet ski. What is that? A snowmobile? Solar powers only works about 4 months out of the year.
You're good. You're great. I've been. I don't know if you know this, but I think Cliff High told us when we had that joint interview with him. He's kind of holding off on doing the YouTube interviews right now to work on it. He's got a lot on his plate. He's moving south. At some point, he's buying.
Good. He's getting out of the left coast. Why can't you?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think he's going to Florida, but
you should go to Florida.
He's buying an RV, and I'm so jealous because I had my eyes on an RV, but I can't be that mobile right now. I wish I could, just because I need my kids to graduate and get out into the world. But his latest report, we did the last interview with him. You know that. That's our distinction.
We were so lucky and fortunate to do that, Bix.
Yeah, I know. So look it up on YouTube. But his next report, I think he just tweeted today that a lot of it has to do with Antarctica and what's going on there.
What the heck do you think is going on over there, man? There's so much stuff.
They're finding unbelievable technology, pyramids 10 times the size of Giza.
I've seen those pictures. They're massive.
Yeah, and this is announcing this would, first of all, anybody who thinks that the pyramids were built with human hands 10,000, 15,000 years ago.
They were built with Hebrew slaves. I know the story.
Insane. I've been to Machu Picchu and Cusco. I've seen the Sun Temple. We can't build that kind of construction today with our modern technology. They didn't do it with hammer and chisel, with bronze chisels. It's ridiculous to even go there. And the only reason people believe that human beings made the pyramids is because that's what they were told.
Right.
If they use their own head and actually go to these areas and see these megalithic rocks that our cranes can't even lift today, that the largest cranes can't even lift some of this stuff, there's no way that they were quarried 300 miles away and moved. It just, the insanity of that whole story. But what it does do, it solidifies the story that they want people to think that we're alone in this world, that we are the only living beings in the universe, and they are the leaders of us, and they'll tell us what to think and how to feel, which is completely the opposite. So yeah, and this Antarctic, what's going on down there, and the governments around the world are deciding, when are we going to tell the people? Because it'll be so obvious because of what was built down there and the technology needed to do it, and the technology that they're finding. So yeah, Antarctica is the place to be. If you're young, got a lot of energy, and are looking into the future, either get into a Bitcoin company or go down to the Antarctic.
Well, if you're going to go to a Bitcoin company, I think there's no better place to mine Bitcoin than Venezuela with all that free electricity. You just got to get a
No,
location far enough
the
away.
government shut them down. The government shut down a miner.
Oh,
Just
jeez.
I mean, talk about
Maduro just doesn't learn, man.
well, he probably took over the mining. He made it a government enterprise.
And he probably converted the Bitcoin mining, all that computer raw power. He probably converted it to, I don't know, for ISP services or something like that, man. I mean, this is the guy who's ordered the National Oil Company, PVSA, to stop drilling for oil and make doors for Habitat for Humanity. I mean, this is the type of guy he is. Just a moron.
I don't know. Would you sell one of your most important resources into the market at this point in time for electronic blips called fiat money? No, I wouldn't. It's like Mexico selling off all their silver. Mexico sold 20 billion ounces of silver, which is 1/3 of the silver ever mined in the world over their lifetime. Yeah. They could be the richest country in the world, but they're just too stupid to understand it.
Well, that and the fact that, you have
Wait, no, I take it back. They're not too stupid. Their government is too criminal to understand it.
Well, the government is making their money off of narco trafficking, man. That's what it's all about. They can care less. I mean, they got Uncle Tío del Norte, the uncle in the north, who's ensuring that the drug trade continues. So they're gonna, that's what they're more interested in, is quick, fast money. These guys are just too damn dumb and too damn corrupt. Meanwhile, the real elites in Mexico are stockpiling silver, man. I mean, Carlos Slim holds a great deal of silver.
Yeah, Carlos has a lot of silver, but he is a bad guy.
He's a horrible guy. He's Soros' butt buddy.
He's a hedger, and he facilitates this sale of silver. So yeah, don't think he's with the good guys at all. He is
no.
The bad guys.
Slim is horrible. I've written many times about Slim. He is George Soros's wingman in a lot of things. He's a Rothschild agent, man.
Oh, whoa! There's our news. David Rockefeller dead.
Oh, thank God! I mean, weren't you happy? I was popping all sorts of. I was opening up all sorts of boxes of cheap wine to celebrate.
Well, that's the thing, is everybody's like, well, he was 101. He was too old anyway, and he didn't really control anything. He did. He controlled the people under him always. They always kowtowed to whatever he said. Didn't matter how old he was.
Right.
And will it change much? The timing of it is very, very interesting. I think as Trump and the good guys take over the government, the leader of the bad guys, at least a faction of the bad guys, is now gone.
Yeah, and you got to understand one thing. Anybody who says, well, he didn't control anything, you have to understand what the motive of control is. You study David Rockefeller. I have a saying. You have to be like Rockefeller, where you own nothing but you control everything. That's what this whole entire thing's about. Rockefeller was great at hiding his ownership of so many corporations using holding companies and offshore. Exactly. That's how he did it, man. He was smart in doing that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's his meddling in governments that I didn't like the most.
Of course, you can't help himself.
Get rich, fairly or unfairly, but when you start meddling in governments and changing the way governments, overthrowing governments and ordering your minions to go out there and do certain things, that's when I jump up and down and say, no, we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. Absolutely. So, brother, we're coming to the last 5 minutes of the show. Why didn't you, anything else on your radar?
I'm doing so much on YouTube now. And the reason is I've been writing for Road to Ruta for 17 years, and very, very limited amount of people understood it at the beginning or were exposed to it in the early days of GATA and even the early days of my own site at Road to Ruta, that there's just so much information I want to get out there to the people that kind of has been hidden because of, like, with YouTube, you're open to the world, and people can do searches and send it, and you can subscribe to a YouTube channel that you're interested in, and the power, you've probably known the power for a long time. I didn't quite know the power until I started doing it myself, and I was like, wait a minute, there's so much information that I've written about and analyzed and figured out that I haven't told the masses yet. So I'm doing a lot of YouTube videos, probably 2 or 3 a day now.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's the way to go, man. It's a powerful medium, you know, and that and all the social media stuff. It's the best way of getting the word out and reaching a very wide and broad audience.
And yeah, and it's and now's the time we need the real media, the real news, not fake news, real news. And luckily the fake news meme is out there, and nobody knows what it means anymore. Nobody knows what to apply it to anymore. That meme was destroyed by Trump when he started using it, and because the media had set it up to use it against the alt media, and now it's useless.
Right. Exactly. So how can people follow you, and how can they sign up for your newsletter, brother?
roadtoruta.com. The top left corner, put your name and your email in. You get a free email almost a couple times a day now. But you also get a free book, a free PDF book. My first book, Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God.
That's it. That's what's up. And with that being said, guys, I am the Senor Silverback, and he is the Baron of Bitcoin, the master of the road to Ruta. And this wraps up another hump day, bro.
Yeah. Oh, and if you're interested in a deeper conversation on the Bitcoin fork issues as seen by Ruta, I'll be posting today a video about the whole breakdown of what's going on according to what I think.
Absolutely. And I'll be tuning in. With that being said, guys, we are over and out. Again, subscribe to the channel so you will be alerted to when the next hump day goes live, so you can listen to Bix and listen to him live. And also subscribe to Bix's YouTube channel as well, Road to Ruta. With that being said, we are over and out. Take it away, CJ.
Great show.